Welcome to a moment that could redefine the future as we know it. In 2025, there's a week coming that will shake the very foundation of our world, changing everything we thought was possible. From groundbreaking technological advances to global shifts in politics and society, this is the week that will set the course for the next century. Stay tuned, because what you're about to learn could change the way you see the future. The world has been moving toward a tipping point, but no one could have predicted just how quickly things would shift. A single week in 2025 will mark the moment when everything changes, politically, economically, technologically, and socially. It won't be a slow transformation or a subtle shift. It will be a dramatic, undeniable moment in history, one that future generations will look back on as the turning point of the 21st century. It will begin with a global event, something so powerful that it will dominate every news cycle, every conversation, and every thought. This event will send shockwaves through governments, financial markets, and even daily life. People will wake up to a world that feels different, as if the old reality has been shattered and a new one is forming right before their eyes. Some will see opportunity, while others will feel a sense of loss. In the corridors of power, decisions will be made faster than ever before. Leaders will scramble to adapt, some working to stabilize the situation, while others will see it as a chance to push their own agendas forward. The balance of power will shift in ways no one had fully expected, and alliances will be tested like never before. Those who once seemed invincible will suddenly find themselves vulnerable, and those who had been underestimated will rise with surprising strength. Economies will feel the impact almost immediately. The stock markets, the global supply chains, and even the way people use money will undergo rapid transformation. There will be panic in some places, euphoria in others. Some industries will collapse overnight, while new ones will emerge as the next dominant forces. People will have to make quick decisions about their jobs, their savings, and even where they want to live. What was once considered stable and predictable will no longer be certain. Technology will also play a key role in this defining week. New breakthroughs, long in development but waiting for the right moment, will suddenly become central to the conversation. Artificial intelligence, quantum computing, and energy innovations will accelerate, not gradually but explosively. There will be debates over control, over ethics, and over who truly benefits from these advancements. Some will embrace the changes with open arms, while others will resist, fearing the unknown consequences. The impact on daily life will be just as profound. People will communicate differently, work differently, and even think differently. Conversations around dinner tables will be filled with uncertainty, speculation, and excitement. The way people perceive their own future will shift. Some will see unlimited potential, while others will feel like they are losing control of their own destiny. The speed at which everything is happening will be overwhelming, but there will be no time to pause. And in the midst of all this, there will be a deeper question. What kind of world do people truly want? This week in 2025 will force humanity to confront realities that have been ignored for too long. It will demand choices that will define not just the next few years, but the entire trajectory of the future. Society will have to decide what it values most: security or freedom, stability or innovation, unity or division. As the week comes to a close, nothing will be the same. The world will have crossed a threshold, leaving behind an era that now feels distant and stepping into a future filled with both promise and uncertainty. Those who are prepared will find themselves ahead, while those who resist will struggle to keep up. It will be a time of reckoning, but also of possibility. As the dust settles from this historic week, a new reality begins to take shape. People wake up each morning with a sense of urgency, knowing that the choices made now will determine the course of their lives for years, even decades to come. The old systems, governments, financial institutions, industries, scramble to regain their footing, but many find themselves outdated, unable to keep pace with the rapid evolution unfolding before them. In the highest levels of power, the conversations are no longer about maintaining the status quo. They are about survival. Leaders meet behind closed doors, negotiating, strategizing, and in some cases, desperately trying to hold on to what little control they have left. Some nations will rise, while others will struggle to maintain order amid the chaos. New alliances will be formed, ones that would have seemed impossible just a few weeks before, and old partnerships will crumble under the weight of competing interests. For the average person, life will feel both exhilarating and unsettling. The rapid shifts in technology, economy, and governance will demand constant adaptation. What was once routine will no longer exist. People will be forced to learn new skills, rethink their careers, and, in some cases, even reconsider where they call home. The cities of the world, once bustling with predictable rhythms, will pulse with a new kind of energy, one driven by uncertainty, innovation, and a race to define the future. Technology, which had already been advancing at a breakneck pace, will now accelerate beyond anything imagined. The developments unveiled during this critical week will not just be theoretical concepts, but real, tangible forces reshaping daily life. Artificial intelligence will integrate more deeply into decision-making processes. Quantum computing will unlock new possibilities, and automation will redefine industries at an unprecedented speed. The conversation will no longer be about whether these technologies should be adopted. It will be about how quickly humanity can adapt to them. Economically, the world will split into two realities: those who seize the moment and those who struggle to keep up. New wealth will be created overnight as industries pivot, adapt, and innovate. Those who anticipate these changes will find themselves in positions of power, while those who cling to the past will see their influence fade. Traditional investments, currencies, and financial systems will either evolve or collapse under the pressure of new paradigms. The markets will be volatile, unpredictable, and, for those unprepared, ruthless. But it is not just about money or power. It is about people. The social fabric of society will be tested like never before. Some communities will come together, supporting one another in the face of rapid change, while others will fracture under the weight of uncertainty. Fear and hope will collide in the hearts of millions. Protests will erupt in some places, celebrations in others. The divide between those who embrace the new era and those who resist it will become increasingly clear. And then, amid all this transformation, a deeper realization will take hold. This is not just a temporary disruption. This is a new era. The way people work, communicate, and interact with the world will never return to what it was before. Governments will have to rewrite laws, businesses will have to redefine their strategies, and individuals will have to rethink their futures. By the time the week ends, the world will be unrecognizable compared to the one that existed just days before. The past will feel distant, almost irrelevant, as humanity steps fully into an unknown but undeniable future. Some will look back on this moment with nostalgia, remembering the world as it once was. But for most, there will be no time for reflection, only the need to move forward, to adapt, and to shape the new world that has emerged from the most decisive week of 2025. As the weeks following this transformative period unfold, the world will begin to adjust to its new volatile reality. The dust may have settled on the surface, but the currents beneath are far from calm. The rapid changes initiated during that decisive week will continue to ripple through every facet of life, creating new opportunities but also new dangers. People will begin to realize that the world they now inhabit is one of constant flux. Stability, once taken for granted, will be something to strive for rather than an inherent truth. No longer can people simply live day to day, waiting for the familiar rhythms of life to return. Instead, they will need to constantly adapt and anticipate the next wave of change. The digital landscape, which had once been a place for entertainment and socializing, will now be central to survival. Every interaction, every transaction, every decision will be influenced by the rapid acceleration of technology. Artificial intelligence, no longer a distant concept, will play a part in every aspect of life. From healthcare to education, transportation to security, AI will not simply be a tool. It will be a partner, a collaborator, and in some cases, a decision maker. This will bring its own set of challenges. People will struggle with the loss of control over their own lives. Jobs that once defined entire sectors will vanish, replaced by machines that work faster, cheaper, and more efficiently. Some will welcome this as the dawn of a new era of productivity and prosperity, while others will mourn the loss of purpose and connection that came with the human element in their work. The question will arise, how do people find meaning in a world where automation has overtaken so much of what they once did? The rapid economic shifts will leave many reeling. In some places, the disruption will breed innovation and entrepreneurship as individuals and businesses alike scramble to meet the needs of this new world. New industries will arise, some of them unforeseen, as people find ways to leverage the technologies that have transformed the landscape. But for every success story, there will be countless others who are left behind. Entire communities that had once been defined by traditional industries will find themselves struggling to adapt to a new reality that they weren't prepared for. The economic divide between the haves and have-nots will widen, as those who were quick to embrace the new technologies will thrive, while others face a future filled with uncertainty. But it will not be just the economy and technology that are reshaped. Society itself will undergo a fundamental shift. The lines between the personal and the professional, the public and the private, will blur even further. The digital world will no longer be a space where people go to escape, but a space where they live, work, and interact every moment of every day. Privacy, once a cherished ideal, will become a rarity as surveillance, both corporate and governmental, increases exponentially. People will have to make difficult choices about what they're willing to give up for convenience, security, or advancement. For some, these compromises will be easy. For others, the loss will be more than they can bear. The political landscape will be reshaped as well. As the global balance of power shifts, traditional governments will find themselves either reinforcing their authority or watching as their influence erodes. The question of how power is distributed in this new world will become the defining issue of the next decade. Will we see the rise of authoritarian regimes who promise stability in the face of chaos? Or will the new era give birth to decentralized forms of governance, where power is distributed among smaller, more localized entities? The struggle for control will play out on a global stage, with each nation or faction trying to stake its claim in this new world order. In the midst of all this, people will begin to ask themselves a deeper question. What does it mean to be human in this brave new world? With technology, particularly AI, playing such an integral role in their lives, many will question what it means to be truly alive. Will humans become mere passengers on a journey dictated by machines? Or will they find a way to maintain their agency and their humanity in the face of overwhelming technological advancements? The philosophical and ethical debates that will arise will become as important as the technological ones, as society grapples with the implications of this new era. As the years pass, this week in 2025 will be seen as the moment that catalyzed a new epoch in human history. For better or for worse, it will be the moment when everything changed, forever. People will look back on it not just as a pivotal moment in time, but as the beginning of a future that, for all its uncertainty, will be full of possibility. The question will no longer be whether things have changed, but rather, how will humanity rise to meet this new world? And will it be enough to ensure that the progress achieved in the wake of the most decisive week in history will be one that serves everyone, not just the few? As the years progress and the world settles deeper into this transformed reality, the questions that once seemed distant will become immediate and pressing. What kind of future will humanity build? What values will guide the decisions being made? This new era, marked by unprecedented technological advancement, economic upheaval, and shifting political powers, will require humanity to redefine its relationship with the world and with itself. The speed at which society has evolved will leave many struggling to catch up. The generations that lived through the decisive week of 2025 will look back on that moment as both a beginning and an ending. The sense of loss, particularly for those who had once held power or enjoyed a sense of stability, will linger in the air. Some will still mourn the world they lost, while others will embrace the unknown, diving into the opportunities that come with change. But no one will escape the reality that things will never be the same. For many, this new world will be exhilarating. The promise of new possibilities will be undeniable. The boundaries that once limited human potential, whether in communication, travel, or even biology, will continue to erode. People will begin to live longer, healthier lives thanks to breakthroughs in medicine and technology that were once only imagined. The world's most persistent problems, climate change, poverty, and inequality will no longer seem so insurmountable. Advanced technologies paired with global cooperation will create innovative solutions to these age-old challenges. Renewable energy, precision agriculture, and automated systems will begin to reverse the damage done to the planet, while AI-driven solutions will help alleviate global poverty in ways that were previously unimaginable. Despite these bright possibilities, a shadow of doubt will hang over this brave new world. Not everyone will share equally in the prosperity. Those who cannot or will not adapt to the fast-paced changes will be left behind. The digital divide will widen, creating new classes of wealth and poverty. The loss of traditional jobs will leave millions without a clear path forward. As automation replaces human workers, there will be intense debates over how to support those displaced. Universal basic income, retraining programs, and new social safety nets will be proposed, but it will become clear that no one solution will be enough to address the scope of the challenge. Society will have to find a new balance between progress and compassion, how to build a future that lifts everyone, not just those who were quick to embrace change. On the global stage, power dynamics will continue to shift. The old superpowers will struggle to retain their dominance, while emerging nations, some of them unexpected players, will rise to claim their place. These new powers will be different in nature. They will not only possess military might or economic influence, but will also be centers of innovation, pushing the boundaries of what humanity can achieve. New forms of governance will be tested as well. The political systems of the past, be they democratic, authoritarian, or otherwise, will face increasing pressure to evolve. Citizens empowered by technology and new forms of communication will demand more direct influence over their governments. The power of the individual will grow, reshaping the way nations are governed and how decisions are made on the global stage. But the most profound change will be the shift in humanity's sense of self. With AI playing an ever-expanding role in every facet of life, and new technologies offering the potential to extend human capabilities beyond what was once possible, the question of identity will become central. What does it mean to be human when machines can replicate your thoughts, your emotions, even your memories? What does it mean to live a meaningful life when technology can solve problems that once seemed impossible? As human beings merge more closely with their machines, whether through genetic engineering, brain-computer interfaces, or even artificial limbs, the boundaries between man and machine will blur. Some will embrace this fusion, seeing it as the next stage of human evolution. Others will resist, believing that humanity must hold on to its essence, its spirit, in the face of encroaching technology. Amid all this change, the world will also grapple with the ultimate question. What kind of future do we want to build? Will we embrace the promise of a utopia where technology solves all our problems? Or will we guard against the dangers that come with unchecked progress? Will we create a world where everyone has the chance to thrive? Or will we build a society where only a select few reap the benefits? These questions will define not just the next few years, but the very foundation of the future. The decisions made in the aftermath of that decisive week in 2025 will echo for generations to come. As people look toward the future, some will be filled with hope, others with fear. But one thing will be certain: humanity will never be the same. The world of 2025 will be a distant memory, a world that no longer makes sense in the context of the radical changes that have followed. The legacy of that decisive week will be a future where nothing is certain, but everything is possible. And in this future, the greatest challenge of all will be to ensure that the progress of humanity, for all its promise, remains rooted in the values that make us truly human. Only then will the new world that emerged from that week be one we can be proud of. As the world forges ahead, the very foundation of society will be questioned and reshaped. The global consciousness will awaken to the profound truth that, in this new world, humanity's survival and success will not come solely from technological advancement, but from the values it chooses to embrace. For all the brilliance of innovation and progress, the struggle to preserve what makes life meaningful will be the most defining challenge of the coming age. In the wake of the most decisive week in 2025, people everywhere will begin to recognize the importance of connection, real, human connection, in a world where machines are able to replicate many of the things that once defined relationships. Technology will help build new bridges, but it will also create new divides. The question will no longer be about whether technology is useful, but whether it is nurturing or dehumanizing. Are we using these powerful tools to bring us closer together or further apart? As cities evolve and become more digitally integrated, society will face a new dilemma. How do we maintain community in an era where people can work, learn, and interact from anywhere? The physical spaces that once defined cities, neighborhoods, and workplaces will no longer hold the same meaning. Many will choose to live in virtual spaces, working and socializing in digital worlds that replicate the old systems, but with far greater freedom and control. Yet others will yearn for a more tangible connection to the earth, to their physical communities, and to each other. The balance between the virtual and the real will be a tightrope walk, and not everyone will walk it the same way. The evolution of cities will bring a rebirth of design where people seek both privacy and connection, and innovation will thrive in ways that transform how we think about living, working, and belonging. On a larger scale, the relationship between individuals and their governments will be forever changed. People will no longer wait for leaders to define their destinies. Instead, empowered by the tools of the new world, they will demand to be participants in shaping their own futures. Governments, no matter how powerful or entrenched, will have to reckon with the fact that the people now have access to the tools that once belonged only to the elites. Public policies will have to be rethought from the ground up, as citizens demand transparency, accountability, and a more direct voice in decision-making. New forms of democracy, decentralized systems, and even global governance structures will arise to meet the moment. The question will be whether these systems can remain inclusive and egalitarian, or whether they will, like those before them, become corrupted by power and greed. The role of corporations will also be under intense scrutiny. As businesses continue to grow in influence, it will no longer be enough to simply chase profit. Companies will be called upon to answer deeper questions about their role in society. How do they contribute to the greater good? How do they ensure that the technological advances they pioneer are used ethically? Can businesses succeed without exploiting the very people they are meant to serve? Corporations that focus solely on profit at the expense of people will be left behind as new, more conscious business models emerge, ones that prioritize sustainability, equity, and community. The age of reckless capitalism will give way to a more responsible form of capitalism that considers not only the bottom line, but the well-being of all people, the planet, and future generations. As the next generation of leaders emerges, they will be faced with an immense responsibility. They will inherit the world shaped by the events of 2025, a world filled with both opportunity and peril. This generation will need to find a way to bridge the divides that have formed over the last decade, to heal the wounds left by rapid technological advances and economic disparities. It will be a time of reimagining, of creating new models for what it means to be human in a world where so much is changing at once. But perhaps the most profound shift of all will be within the human spirit itself. In the face of overwhelming change, the need for meaning will become more pronounced than ever. As artificial intelligence and automation take over more aspects of daily life, people will seek new ways to define their worth. The existential questions that have always plagued humanity: what is the purpose of life? What makes us truly human? Will rise to the surface with new urgency. For some, the answers will come in the form of spirituality, as people reconnect with ancient traditions or explore new belief systems born of this technological revolution. Others will find meaning in creation, whether through art, technology, or the pursuit of knowledge. There will be those who find purpose in the fight for justice and equality, working to build a world that ensures the benefits of progress are shared by all, not just the privileged few. In this brave new world, the most important thing will not be how far humanity has come, but how it chooses to move forward. The choices made in the wake of that fateful week in 2025 will echo for centuries. Will humanity rise to the challenge of preserving its core values, compassion, empathy, justice, and love, amidst the rush of technological progress? Or will it lose itself in the pursuit of perfection, leaving behind the very qualities that make life worth living? The answer will lie in the decisions made today, in the hearts and minds of people all over the world as they decide what kind of future they want to build. A future that is defined not by the machines they create, but by the humanity they choose to preserve. It will be a future where the most decisive week of 2025 is remembered not just as a moment of change, but as a moment when the world decided to become something better. As we've seen, the decisions made in this pivotal week will resonate for generations to come. The future is coming fast, and we have the power to shape it, one choice at a time. So what kind of world will we create? Will we rise to the challenge? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to like and subscribe to stay updated on the most important moments shaping our world. Thanks for watching, and remember, the future starts now.